All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on this week's video. Today we're actually gonna be in the shop, but before we go to the shop, I wanted to kind of go over really quickly what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be updating my truck today. We're gonna be doing a really specific mod to my truck, and it's gonna fix an issue that I recently discovered I had. And I wanna go over that issue because I think some of you might have the same issue and maybe not know it. And my solution that we're gonna be doing today, I think will fix mine, and it'll probably fix yours too. So for those of you who are not familiar with my channel, this is my 3rd gen Toyota Tacoma. I bought this truck brand new back in 2020. And since then, I've been slowly building this truck out, converting it. I did a rear seat delete on this truck. We've got a pull-out fridge, pull-out kitchen, all kind of cool stuff. I've actually filmed tons of videos. If you're not familiar, go to my homepage, look up the playlist, and you can watch every video for every mod that I've done so far to my truck. Hit the subscribe button while you're there. I'd really appreciate it. But building this truck actually turned it into 2 types of truck. It turned it into a really cool overland camping rig, but it also turned it into a really not so cool daily driver. And what I mean is these Tacomas from the factory are already horrible on gas mileage. I've heard people say they get really, above 20 miles per gallon. I have never seen 20 miles per gallon out of my Tacoma. I don't know if it's the way I drive or what. And since I've lifted it and added all this extra stuff to it, I don't get anywhere near that. I've been getting under 15, around 13 miles per gallon out of this truck. And that'll hurt your wallet pretty quick. So odds are, if you see me in town, if I'm, regular weekday stuff, if I'm traveling back and forth to work, you see me at Lowe's, you're not gonna see this Tacoma. You're gonna see this truck. This is my 1997 Nissan hardbody. I've had probably 7 of these hard bodies. These are hands down one of my favorite trucks out there. If you can get your hands on an old hard body, get it, keep it forever. This one is actually a family heirloom kinda. This was my father-in-law's truck. When my son turned 16, he gifted it to him for his birthday. And within about a year, my son blew the motor up in it. I had to buy him a new vehicle, and we took this one from him. A couple of years back, I rebuilt the motor in this truck and started using it as a daily driver, which worked out great because I'm keeping all of the miles that I would be putting on my Tacoma every day off of it. I'm keeping the wear and tear off of my Tacoma, and the gas mileage is way better in this little 4-cylinder truck than, my very horrible gas mileage on my Tacoma. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my Tacoma, but I'll usually only drive it for 3 reasons. I drive it to go hunting, I drive it to go fishing, and I drive it to go camping. If I'm not going to those 3 places, you're gonna see me in the old Nini here. You're not gonna see me in the Tacoma. So that being said, this truck sits a lot. My Tacoma, it's parked in my driveway for very long periods of time. Sometimes I've been known to go 3 weeks or more without even cranking the truck. And about a week ago, I came out, I was gonna go fishing, I hopped in the Tacoma, hit the start button, and it almost didn't crank. I noticed the battery sounded absolutely shot. I put a load tester on it. Sure enough, the battery it wasn't completely gone, but it was on its way out. So I went and dropped the money. I bought an expensive battery to put in this thing. I think the Red Top Optima is probably the best battery for cranking these Toyota Tacomas, that from what I know. I mean, y'all might have a different preference, but I went with the Red Top Optima. If you're familiar with those, I paid a buttload of money for that battery. But even though I bought a really good battery for the truck, the same outcome is gonna happen if I don't address what caused my battery to go bad, and what that is sitting. You can't, no matter how much you pay for a battery, a lead acid battery, or maybe even an AGM battery, if you just stick it outside and you don't charge it, you don't cycle the battery, it's gonna kill itself pretty quick. The cells are gonna go bad no matter what you paid for it. So that really expensive Red Top Optima that I put in this truck may not last me as long as the factory Tacoma battery or the Toyota battery that I pulled out this week. So I need to address that. I got on the internet and started looking around, and I got 2 options that I was gonna go by to correct this issue. The first one was a trickle charger, kind of the same charger you would put. These leaves are crazy. I feel like it's snowing on me. Can y'all see all these leaves falling? But anyway, I've got 2 options. I have a trickle charge option where I could plug up a cheap charger and run a drop cord out and keep it plugged to my truck. I think a lot of you guys up north do that anyway, so it's a really cheap solution, just like you do a motorcycle or a bass boat during the winter. You just plug it up and it keeps those cells from going bad, and it saves the battery. but I really don't want to drag a drop cord out and keep it plugged up to my truck, and then when I leave, I have to roll the drop cord up. I don't really want to go that route. So I started looking into the other option, which is solar panels. And I've done a lot of the research, I've done all the legwork so you guys don't have to, and I think I found the perfect product to install on my truck. It's gonna keep my truck solar charged, it's gonna look good on my truck, and it's gonna save me money in the long run. It's not gonna, I'm not gonna kill this very expensive battery that I put in. So now you guys know what we're doing today. We're gonna be installing a solar panel on this truck. Now this is a very specific solar panel, and we're gonna pop the hood and get this thing installed today and see how well it works. So after falling down a huge rabbit hole of solar panel systems for vehicles, I landed on a website in a company called LinSun Solar. These guys have everything you can think of, from flexible solar panels that mount on top of your campers or your RVs or your SUV, all the way down to specific vehicle hood mounted solar panels for Tacomas, for 4Runners, all kind of different vehicles, and some universal styles on their website. The one we went with is the specific one for the 3rd gen Tacoma. It will fit perfectly on the hood of my truck. It will charge the battery all the time, and we won't have to worry about having the battery go dead on us. So today what I'm gonna show you is how I installed it. Now, if you see my hood, if you can tell on camera, and I'm gonna walk you guys around in just a minute, but I've already got a black decal on the hood. They provide you with this vinyl graphic to stick to the hood so you don't have to worry about if you change your mind later on, if you pull the solar panel off, it won't damage your paint in any way. So they provide you with this. I went ahead and stuck this on because they do recommend, I read the instructions, at least 48 hours. You wanna have this on your vehicle. You wanna install it above 60 degrees Fahrenheit temperature, get it installed, make sure it's sealed really good, and then let it kind of sit on your truck for about 2 days before you install the solar panel. So I've got mine installed. A key trick to this, if you've never done like a graphic install on a vehicle, soapy water, as much as you want to use. Don't use like Dawn dish soap or anything like that. Use something like hand soap or shampoo in a spray bottle. Just soak your hood. After you get your hood really clean, soak the hood with that soapy water, and then soak the back of the decal. That way you can put it exactly where you want it. You can take your measurements. I measured the front gap on the front and then the side-to-side measurements. Once you get it where you want it, you just squeegee it out and it's there. You let it dry for a couple of days. Now I've got a nice graphic on here, and if I ever decide to take the solar panel off my truck, I don't have to worry about messing up my paint or anything on my hood, because we can just pull this graphic off when we're done. The solar panel, and you're gonna get to see it up close in just a minute, but this is what the solar panel looks like. And this is the specific one for the 3rd gen Tacoma. The back is just a smooth back, there's nothing on it. We'll wipe it down really good. And the way they kind of adhere to the vehicle is you get a kit that comes with your charger controller that goes to this up under the hood, which we're gonna install once we get this mounted. And it comes with 3M tape. And you just line the back of this with strips of 3M tape, and it I'll show you the instructions. They got really good, colorful, detailed instructions on how to do it. We're gonna line the back of this up with the 3M tape or the double-sided sticky tape, and then we're gonna stick this right on top of this graphic. And it should, I haven't done this yet, but it should center up to where there's a little outline of the graphic all the way around it. And that's not gonna look bad at all. Another cool thing about this is if you run overhead lights, like I run a light bar, which I'm gonna be updating that very soon with some really cool new lights. But if you run a light bar and you've got like a light colored vehicle like the cement gray, at night, if you run those lights, it does show a reflection off the hood back into the cab. And doing something like this also prevents that reflection. So this will actually help me out when I'm running my light bar or my roof lights at night. I think it'll knock the glare down really good, but it's not gonna look bad, and we're gonna be able to trickle charge the battery. Let me show you what this kit comes with, and then we're gonna get into the install. So when you order your LinSun solar kit for your truck, you'll get a product catalog, you'll get instructions on how to do the decal that I just told you guys about, when you first get it, it says kind of roll it out and leave it flat for a little while to get all the wrinkles and stuff out. It comes rolled up in a tube, and you just kind of stretch it out and use the soapy water, and exactly how I told you I did it is how you do it, but they got some nice instructions on it. You get a couple of decals, you get your actual hood solar installation, And look at these. I mean, this is really good. It's colorful installation, step-by-step on exactly how to do it, how to tape it off with some tape to make sure you get it exactly centered of your hood. You get a lot of these little zip ties and these the sticky back. Those things you kind of stick under your hood to manage your wire, because the wire on this thing is actually gonna come off the back. It's got this little hump, and it's not even that thick. I think it'll be just fine. And the wire's gonna go right up under my hood, right in the center. Let's see if I can show you the hood. Here's the decal. That decal actually looks really good on there. I don't hate that at all. But the wire's just gonna go straight over the back and under the hood, kind of the same way these ditch lights do. You can't really see the wires until you look really close, how they kind of just go up under the hood. But that wire's gonna do the same thing right in the center. It's gonna hop over. And then you also get this box here, and it's the instructions with an app that kind of helps you on the install. And you can actually use the app whenever you've got this thing hooked up to kind of manage the battery and see how it's done, you know, see how the solar is working and all. And then you get your solar kit right here. This is what we're gonna mount up under the hood. Red and black wires go to your battery, and then you got your solar hookup. It's super easy, guys. This is gonna take no time at all. If I wasn't filming, this would be done already. And then you get 2 big rolls of your double-sided tape. I always call this 3M tape, but it's the same thing. It's just double-sided sticky tape. And we're gonna cut it to strips. See if I can find you a picture on how they do this. It's probably right here in the front. See how they got these strips on the back side of that solar panel. And we're gonna do that to ours on the back side of this. I'm first gonna set this on the hood and get me a chalk pencil or something and kind of mark exactly the center where it's gonna go. Because once we get that tape on the back of this solar panel and we go over the hood, we gotta drop it right into place where we want it. So I'm gonna measure everything up really quick and let's get this thing installed. And this thing don't weigh much at all. I'll wipe down the back. So the solar panel is just a little bit thinner than the actual decal. So what I want to do is just make sure it's even in the center of the decal. Just find a good spot where it's going to look right. That's going to go right over the hood there. I've got one of these fabric, I guess it's a fabric measuring tape that I use when I do stuff that's got curves. And I kind of just use this sometimes. So if we slid it to 1 inch exactly, now what I'll do is I'm gonna put a piece of blue tape right here. I'm not gonna rub this down too much. I'm just doing this in the corner so I know exactly where I want this thing to sit. Now, that should be enough to get us where we want it. It looks straight to me. Once we get this thing stuck on, we'll pop the hood and then we'll do the wiring. The wiring is gonna be super easy. We're gonna plug in 2 cables to the solar panel and then hook 2 of them up to the battery. Then we'll boot the app up. I'll download the app and we'll check, see how it does. Might have to pull outside into the sunlight to get it to do a reading. All right. Now, to apply the 3M tape or the double-sided tape, whatever you want to call it, we're gonna have to cut it into strips. But first, the instructions say to make sure you clean the back really well. I've got tools everywhere. I'm right in the middle of moving shops. If you watched the last video, I'm building a new shop for the channel downstairs, and I moved my toolboxes and a bunch of other stuff this week. So I'm actually having to go downstairs for this video to grab tools and bring up here because I'm not quite finished with the new shop set up down there. All right, we get that nice and clean. Let's grab our double-sided tape. And I think what I'm gonna do is just do an outline of strips, and we'll cut it to size and just start sticking it on. We're gonna leave one side covered until we're ready, and then we'll pull it all off and go for it. I'm just trying to make sure I get a nice straight line. Get it down here. You don't want it to overlap with each other, so I'll go around and trim it up if I can. I'll probably end up putting a small piece in this corner. Now that I got the border done, we're gonna do just straight up and down stripes. I'm gonna try to do it so that I use as much tape as I can. I'm gonna try to use as much of this roll as we can get on here, because I'm assuming the more sticky tape we got on here, the better it's gonna stick. So I wish I knew exactly how much I had though. So maybe we'll start in the center-ish. And you don't want to stretch this when you apply it. You pull it tight, but don't pull it to where it's stretching. Because if you stick it down while it's stretched, it's gonna wanna unstick itself. All right, we got that one. Now I'm just gonna start splitting this until we run out of tape. So let's split this gap. All right, y'all. The tape is on. I've got about that much left. Good bit on there, but I think it's fully covered. Now, I'm gonna rub this down really good before we start removing this red backing. That way we know it's stuck good to the solar panel. And it's probably best if you've got an extra person around when it comes time to stick it to the hood. I'm gonna try to do it myself. All right, there it is. All the 3M tape is on there. My hood's masked out. Now we're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna very carefully try to get this exactly where I want it the first time. But first I gotta peel the backing off all this tape. There we go. Let's get it on the truck. How close is that? I think that's pretty close right there. I'm going for it. I lined these lines up and these corners up and just kind of went with it. I might be a hair to the left of my tape up here, but it looks good, and I'm not gonna peel it back up. I'm just rubbing it from the bottom up. Yeah, I was right on the edge. I thought I was over my blue tape, but I wasn't. I'm able to pull my blue tape right up. That 3M tape is really thin too, so it's gonna keep a really low profile on the hood here. This thing is actually super thin on the hood. If you were curious about how thick this thing is, once it's installed, it's really, really low. You can see there. And I do like how the graphic is bigger than the actual solar panel. See how it gives it that nice outline around the edges? And I did a decent job. That's pretty square there. I don't think I could have done any better. And then from the top, it looks like that. That's not bad at all. So now I'm gonna tuck the wire over the back of the hood. We're gonna get this hood popped, because now all we got left to do is hook up this controller. And it's a real simple connection. You got 2 of them that run to the solar panel, and then 2 wires that go to the battery. We'll download the app and see how this thing does. I like the look of it. I probably will set some lightweight books on it tonight while it's in the garage and kind of help put a little bit of pressure on it. But that tape felt really sticky. I think it's gonna be just fine up under there. So now I'm gonna use those provided zip ties and those little zip tie holders. These little guys right here. These are really great. I love having these things when I'm running wires or something, because you can stick one side to what you need it to hold to, and then there's little slots in here for your zip ties to go through and hold your wire. I am gonna figure out where they're gonna go first and clean up under the hood with some alcohol. That way they stick really good, because up under this hood gets really hot. You want them to stick really good. So I think we're gonna try to go straight over the back and probably mount the controller somewhere over here on this side near the battery. All right, she is all wired up. I've got the wires ran real nice and neat. As you can see across the back here, I was able to use 3 of those things. They give you a lot of them too. I'll be able to use them later on for running other wires, but I ran 3 of them right across here. It should shut right behind this lip, and it brings the wire down with all my other lights and rooftop lights and stuff like that. And then everything comes right down here to the controller. And I don't know if y'all can see the lights are on back here. So the lights are lighting up to let me know that it's functioning properly. And I went ahead and downloaded the app, and I've got it pulled up right here. So this is what the app looks like. So right now, if y'all can see it, let's see, is it focused? Yeah. So it says the load, the battery, and the PV. So right now you can see the solar panels are not charging because we're inside. The battery is 12.4 volts, and the discharge is 0 because there's nothing, pulling on the battery right now. So let's drive this truck outside while the sun is still up, and then we're gonna pop the app back up and see how much juice this brings in from the sun to trickle charge this cool new battery I got. All right, y'all, I was able to catch the last little bit of sunlight coming down. The sun is actually setting right over there. So I backed up. We've got sun hitting some of the hood, not the whole hood, but I've got the app pulled up. And if you look, we are charging right now. We're charging 0.3 amps, 6.0 watts on the charge. And it's just slowly trickle charging the battery, which is really cool. I love how it shows the load, the battery, and the solar panels charging, and it lets you know how much sun it's actually bringing in and how much charge you're actually getting on your battery. I did forget to mention there are 2 more wires that are coming off the controller that we installed in the hood there. Those wires you can run to a light or something, some way to light up under your hood if you wanted to. That way you have a light that's just off of solar. When you open your hood up, you have a light up under your hood. I didn't hook that up. Maybe I will in the future. For now, I just kind of heat shrunk those wires together and tucked them over the side. But I do love the way this looks on my truck. That does not look bad at all. So guys, I'm gonna have these linked in the video description below. I did contact Linsun Solar after I'd done all the research and I found out that this was the route I wanted to go. I reached out to them. They did send me this to do this install for you guys. This is really cool. I think it's gonna work really well. It's gonna help save that battery that I just put up under the hood. I park outside 90% of the time, and while it's out there, it's gonna be charging my battery. If they give me a discount code or anything like that, just look up under the video description here, find the link, find the discount code, and you can go there. I do know that right now they're having an end of year sale on their website, and you can get a big discount on all of their solar panels. Even if you don't drive a Tacoma, if you drive a 4Runner or something else like that, they have these custom hood solar panels for your vehicle. If they don't, they have universal ones that you can put just about anywhere. So check these out. They've also got ways that I can tie this into my rear battery. The battery that I run my tent setup with, that's in the back of the truck, we're gonna be able to tap into it and trickle charge both batteries. So that's gonna help us out when we're camping during the summer and stuff. So y'all stay tuned. I upload every Monday at 6 o'clock. Huge shout out to Linsun Solar for sponsoring this video with this product. It is super cool and I cannot wait to test it out. And I will catch you guys next Monday at 6 p.m. Peace.